Hello everybody. So let's get started with the application. So I'm already in my directory, and instead of actually doing the week4 folder, I will do it here in the root because it's going to be a multi-week project. So let's do a new view application, going to be called view create. Let's call it super awesome app, and we will going to select manually the features, and we're going to enable bubble as it is. We're going to enable the router Vuex. I will explain this a little bit what it is, and let's actually install the preprocessor for CSS and leave the linter there too. So we have bubble, router, Vuex, CSS preprocessor, and the linter. We click enter. Important, we are putting the history mode to no, and this is actually to show the application a little bit easier when we're going to do deployment. If we enable the history mode, when we're going to do the application is remove that little hashtag on the title when we are moving between pages somehow, but that requires an extra configuration in your deployment server, and because it's outside the scope of this course, we leave the history mode right now to no. We're going to select the first one, Dart SAS, enter. Let's say ESLint with the standard configuration, lint on save, and in dedicated config files. And we just click enter again, and the application is going to be created. Okay, so we go to this super awesome app and we click yarn serve to render the application. We go to the server. We have a common application with the home and the about pages, so it is working that it's supposed to. Let's go back here. Let me close this because I'm already inside my super awesome app. I just can open my code editor through here, and let me make it bigger. And now that I have it there, let me actually execute this again. So you make some changes here. Perfect. Okay, it's doing what it's supposed to. So before doing actually the cleanup, let's add beautify. So in the Visual Studio Code, we go terminal, new terminal. Okay, this is a little bit slow. Let me terminal font. Let me put this to 20. Yeah, probably better. So now that I'm inside my super awesome app, we're going to add beautify. So view add beautify. We're going to select the configure. We say yes for the pre-made template, yes for the custom theme, yes for the properties, material design icons. We're going to select the first one, and no for the fonts and dependencies. A la carte component, yes. In English, and we click enter, and we wait for the dependencies to be added. So our application is failing. We just need to, because it's still compiling. In order to get compiled, we just do a refresh, it's not getting everything. If that actually happened, go back here, Ctrl C, and serve the application again. Where to? Now the application is loaded, and we have that material design and everything that Beautify have by default. So this is a good stopping point. If you go back to Visual Studio Code, you go to the changes sections, we see that several things are already changed. I would like to add all those changes to the stage, and we're going to do our first commit, Beautify added, and then the check mark. Now that we have all the changes committed, let's do some kind of cleanup. So the components, I like to remove the component that is there, move to trash. I will create a new file called .keep. Actually, I believe it's called keep. Yes, .keep. This is just an empty file that we don't put anything there, but because a folder in order to be tracked, you need to have something, so we leave it like that with the keep. The asset, I'm going to delete both assets. Also here an asset, new file, .keep, plugins, we are fine with that. Views, we are going to remove the about. We're going to keep the home, but we are going to remove the component hello world. And let's put a traditional H1 hello there. Application view, let's actually remove the bar, and yeah, let's remove it for now. And we just leave the application, the content, and the view router. Perfect, it's called app. We leave it like that. The application view, the main JS is going to be the same. We're going to remove the about route. We're going to keep the store as it is. And I will explain what is actually this later. And I believe we have everything. So we go here, we see the hello there. That means that we are ready. So we can go now to the changes, stage everything now, and do cleanup and commit. So we have two different commits. Before we continue, I will go to my GitHub website. I'm already logged in. I will create a new project. It's going to be super awesome app. Oh, it already exists. So let's call super awesome application. Perfect. And I will add it as private, create the repository. Perfect. So we just copy this section. I can copy through here because all my changes are already committed. I just paste it in my terminal. Perfect, and then I push all the changes there. Perfect. If I refresh, okay, my super app is there. Perfect. So let me just close it. just I have everything ready to start continuing and doing what we're supposed to do. Okay, so let's actually create a component, and that component is going to be our navbar. So in the component we create a new file called navbar.view, and this component will be pretty much the bar that we're going to have it on the top of a page. So we create a view base and we'll handle all this for us. You know, you can actually just open the template tag, close it, and we'll create it for you. So this actually doesn't matter. In my case, because we have the auto-completion installed, if we click view base, it's going to have like a template for everything. So let's actually use this one. Then go to my Beautify. Let's get started and look for the app bar. But we need to have that. So a simple app bar, and we specify the colors. Okay. Navigation icon, we have it, we will not have it, but we have the title. So let's actually copy this app bar. So we just copy everything through the app bar closing tag, and we paste it here. We save it. It should be fine. What I like to do, you have your formatting on. I would like to have disabled, as you can see it. So I can hit the Command-Shift-P or Control-Shift-P and select Format Document. And this what I'm going to do is pretty much render everything where it's supposed to be in a little more look way to have it. So let me just save it. And now let me check my notes. In my home, so it's in my application view actually, I will handle just the router view. Let me format this. Perfect. And in home, I will have my VApp, and from there, why we have the VApp? Because every Beautify application need to have the VApp render tag outside everything that we're going to be doing, and home is going to be the home component that is going to be rendered. So from here, I will import the navbar that we created, navbar from, and we can see two things. We can actually measure where the navbar is. We are inside the view, so we can do something like from here, and then we go to components, and then we go to the navbar, or we just change this to an add. This means inside the source directory. So in this case, it doesn't matter. I will leave it like this for now, and I will declare it. So first thing, I will put my name. The application is called, this page is called main page, and let me actually, we type big component, import one component, and we're going to be actually importing the navbar. So now that we have the navbar there, we can specify it and use it here, like this. So our application have the navbar. Navbar is a component that is using this file. So remember, we're using a more modular way to construct the application. We are going back to our application, we have this monstrosity. And let's see what we can do to pretty much fix it or have it as it's supposed to. So the first thing that I saw is I don't like the color, and we don't need this button. So we can going back to a navbar. Let's actually remove let's leave the dark. So the color that I like is yellow, darken 4. Okay, better. The name of my application is going to be with emoji and everything. Super awesome app. Perfect. So this one, we don't need it. Navbar navigation icon, you get deleted. Perfect. This flex grow, I don't need it either. Let's remove it. And let's do B spacer. Probably going to be better. Oh, for make this, let's make this belong to my application, and it's going to be absolute. Okay, perfect. So it looked like it didn't like my space. Let's make all this a link. So we can actually do is, remember, router link. To home. And we close it. Oh, this is closing tag. Save it. Okay, now it's a link, but it's a really ugly link. So let's put some classes in there. And because I already know these classes, we just have I want my text to be white. Perfect. And I want to remove the decoration. So let me actually create no decoration. And I go back to my style. And I create a new class called no decoration. Let me copy that. Put it there. Select no decoration. And we put text dash decoration as none. I save it. Perfect. So it's still a link and it's going where it's supposed to. Perfect. And my spacer now is working. Cool. So it's doing what it's supposed to do. So let's leave this icon, let's leave the magnify glass for now. And let's remove this. We don't need those. So this is actually this menu. So we can actually just delete all this and have it like that. Perfect, I believe it's good for now. So we have the application there and it's doing what it's supposed to. So this component that is in my component folder has been imported in my home view, and then we declare it as a component. So instead of putting all this information here, we just wrap it up with a number component. So we can have something like this. Excellent. So now that we have the header, let's create a big content that's going to be here, and we're going to put another router view inside. And why I'm saying that? Because let's change the router a little bit. So we have the home path actually in the router, and we're going to be changing this to a little bit different name. So we're going to remove the component area, and we will create the children object or array. And we specify that the home have actually some, you know what, let's leave the component, and then we will declare some children until we'll require or have something particular that's going to be rendered inside this section. So the first one that we're going to be called the path is going to be the default path. That's why I'm saying that it's empty. And actually, before doing that, I need to create an array. Perfect. So it's an array and then an object. An object is through the mustache. So we need to declare some key objects here. One of those is going to be the path. The specify is going to be the default. The name. Let's call it main feed. And let's actually put it component. We're going to render the feed. Let's call this name to feed, and we're going to render the component feed. So this component actually doesn't exist yet. Let's just copy and paste the home, change this one to feed, and in our view we're going to have a new file called feed.view. It's pretty much where we say we're going to be saved, and in there here's one. This is the main feed. Let's save it, and perfect, it gets rendered. So what we did here, we are putting component nested in another components. So the main application is the application view, and that we will handle the routers, and those routers is going to be handled to the router JS file. In here we just declare one route. The root one is called home, and that one have a children route that is going to be displayed in the same path. We're going to call feed. So we actually can have the home with the router view, and we can actually enable like children of children's and be sent them through the application. So I like that. For now, probably what we can do, this is a little bit too light for me. So let's actually my content change it to blue, gray, lighten 3, where we have this color separated. I like this a little bit better, but you can select any color. You look for the beautify, all the colors are actually there. So this is actually red lighten 2, this is indigo accent 4, this is light green lighten 5, etc, etc. So I actually encourage everybody to go and change the colors at the colors that you want. For now, I believe I can keep it like this. So before we continue, let's add it. stay everything, add it, navbar, and main route. Commit. After I commit, as you can see here on the bottom, you have this little number here. That means that we need to synchronize to have the changes. So instead of doing the git push, we can actually click this one, and it's going to be synchronizing, and it's sending the changes that we have to repository. So we go back to GitHub and open a super awesome application. You will see that in my commits, added navbar and main route is already there because I just push it through my application. I just want to show that. Okay, so let's continue and let's be working. So now we have that. Let's actually create the login page. So it's going to be another view called login.view, and this one we will call name login, and we'll have for now an h1 login page. So we need to define this login. So in the route, outside the children, and after actually the home path, we need to put a comma here, enter, and we create another object, and the path is going to be /login, name to be login, and component is going to be my login component. That we know that my login component is actually here, login. Import from this. Perfect. So that means if we go to login, we hit the login page, and we remove that, we remove. So something that I want to show here is that the navbar only happen because it's on home. So the navbar is going to be displayed only on the home children's in this route, and later we will add most routes through here, and we have several elements. But because login is a sibling of home, is not children, the navbar is not declared there. That's why we have a little more flexibility and what we can actually show there, and we have different layouts through the application. So showing the path of this one is actually to verify that. But because login is a sibling, we are not hereby everything that came from the component home where the navbar is declared. So because it's not declared there, we have a free will pretty much to start filling what we want to have in our application. Okay, so let's actually go to the login page. So remember, every VU application need to have, oh sorry for that, need to have VApp element. Remember that the VApp, it was declared in home, so because this is a sibling, we need to declare it again here, and we're going to declare a container. And we know that in the container, sorry, not container, content. And then inside the content, we have a container. And let's for now my container to be class red. Why? To troubleshoot. So we click login, and I see that background color red. And that background color red is actually what it means is the sizing of my container. So in order to move away and to troubleshoot something better, let's make a pause here. So if you're using Firefox, I would recommend you to go to the Firefox extension. You're using Chrome, go to the Chrome extensions, Chrome Web Store. Right now I'm using Firefox, so I will go to Firefox extensions page and look for Vue. You will find the Vue.js development tools, DevTools, by Evan Yu and a cream. So please install this dependency through here if you're in Firefox, or the same here. Let's look for Vue.js. So the DevTools actually there. So just install it too. And this what is going to be done is we will have the fact ability when we inspect the element, have a Vue tab on the right, and we can see the different elements of the Vue pages. So let me go back to my route. So as you can see in the Vue tab, we have the route, the root, our application is here, and then we have the main page, and from the main page we have the Vue application, we have the navbar component and the content. You can see when you hover over, those get selected on the screen. For the navbar we have the application bar with the buttons, the router link, the spacer, everything that it has. And for the content, we have the feed page. There is a router view, so we can see how those router view actually works and how the component get rendered at the end. So it's a pretty good way to see it. Okay, so let's go back to login. And in login we see that we have the application, we have the login view, there we have an application again, and we have a content, and that content have a container, and that's it. So let's actually fill up that container. So we're going to see the grid system beautify. These are the container. We can actually have enabled something like, you know what, fill how to center vertically, the fill high helper class. So let's actually have my container have my fill height high. So now, okay, perfect, it's getting promoted the whole size, the one that I want, but I see something there that I don't like. I see a little, how can I say, those white spaces. So let me inspect the element. So if I go to compute it or layout, I see I have some padding on the left, on the right of the container by itself. So that means if I go back to my code, to look for padding, I believe this is the end, but let's look for padding. There's no other margin. So we have the margin utilities. Well, we're supposed to have the padding too. Let me look where actually it is. Spacing. There you go. So padding, we can actually select different padding sizing, and those are going to be rendered. P applies for padding, and then the direction for the top, bottom, left, right, or A to apply to all the directions, and then the number. So in my case, what I want to do, and is property direction dash the sizing. So I want to apply we know that this have a padding because we saw it in the layout. Apply it, and in the container element, class container. So we can actually go to my container and do my padding all directions 0. Property, padding, directions, all, 0, eliminate. Okay, if I save it now and re-render this, it's supposed to be working, but it did not. Oh, as you can see, it has margin auto now. So we can see the padding there is done, but now the margin is the one who are pretty much filling something. So we need to have also margin alt 0, and that fill up the whole page as we wanted. Excellent. Let's remove the margin again, and let's put the margin again, margin alt 0, and we do it like this. Perfect. So it's doing what we're supposed to. So now that we know that the container is full, we can remove the red, and we know that the whole page is actually the container. Again, if we pick the element, go to the view, we can see that the login, application, content, container, the container is taking the full screen now. Perfect. So there is something that I didn't like for the container. Let me actually put the color again. That little thing on the right. Let me remove the margin. And let me put another property that the container have. So we go to grid system. We put it like the props fluid. Let's see what it does first. So property fluid is doing a better job. So let's actually leave it like that, without padding and fluid. That way the application is everything. So let me actually remove the padding. Yes, it's a lot better. So let's leave it like this. And now let me put a color. So we know that we're putting everything. We don't have weird spaces on the top and the bottom. We see that actually my container is full because using the fluid properties and the fill high. So this is excellent. So now that we have that, let's actually remove this and let's put this container. Actually, let's put it to the content class cover. And what we are going to do with that class cover, let's do a background image. So let me select an image from pixum.photos. So it's like a place where you can actually have like random image. or you can select a particular one that you want. So let me actually get this is like getting a random blur, grayscale, a specific image. Here you go. You can find a list of image here. So these are the images that we want. Looking at those images, the one that I like it is, let me look for that. Where is it? This one. So we can actually copy this. Probably the sizing is too much, so we can do it something like this. So it's a smaller image, perfect. So I copy this ID, go back to my code, and I will change this to background. I'm going to take a URL, and that URL is going to be the one that I just sent. Save it. So the background is there, but I wanted, just in case, let's have it center, no repeat. So the image gets actually always in the center, and then is just in case, let's say that we have actually a smaller image. You can see it's there. If we select the property of background size to cover, that image gets like expanded. It doesn't matter the sizing. Now because it's too small looks ugly, so let's actually put like a bigger number, but not too big. So we have a crispy image and we know it's going to be rendered no matter the sizing. So I like this, but I want to add an extra layout at the top. So one pretty cool about the background is that we can actually type up a gradient on top. So I will copy and paste this, and then a comma and the URL. So I will say that we have a gradient on 0 degrees from this particular color to this particular color, and actually those are color for the material design. I just took it from there, and I save it, and we'll give you this overlay with a little bit transparent and changing between orange to yellow. So it's something that I like. You wanted to have it a little more transparent, we can have this number a little smaller, something like 33 for example, instead of 33. Oh, sorry, actually bigger. So let's do CC. These are hexadecimal numbers, so you can see the color more predominant of the image, but I believe a really good balance is actually AA. And you can see a little bit more the image and still see the colors on top of that. So I like this image as background, and that's going to be the custom CSS that we're going to be putting there. So now that we have cover our container, we need to specify raw, and this raw is going to be justify center and line center, we put something like h1 hello, and it's not there. There you go. It's actually in the middle. If we remove this, it's going to be on the left. So we just put it to make sure that all the content that we're going to be posting here is going to be in the middle. So we leave it like that. So we're going to be, now that we have the row, we specify the columns. We say that, remember the column is actually b-column. And we'll see that we're going to be using, let's say, probably 4 columns. Then we're going to use a card. Okay, the card is not yet rendered yet. So let's remember the card. So on the card we have titles, text, and actions. So the titles on the top, text in the middle, and the action depending on where you put the buttons that you want to need. So let's put big card title. And let's put the welcome to this super awesome app. Please log in. Okay. That's our title, and it's in the middle. But this super awesome app. And let's actually put our branding here. Sorry. In this case, you can skip the emoji, I just like to put it there. Perfect. And my title, let me change my classes. So I will put the same yellow, darken 4, I believe. And I will say white dash text. Perfect. Welcome to the Super Awesome app. Please log in. And actually remove this, probably it's too much. Yeah, welcome to the Super Awesome app. Then we can have big card text in the next section. Perfect. And the last one is going to be card actions. Let me check this action in plural. Yes. Leave it like this. Okay, we have the text and the actions. And we put something here and buttons here. That's pretty much going to be working. Perfect. So before actually continue and moving, let's see a particular property that Vue have. Let's see the forms. So have different forms and they have some kind of validations in there. And they explain us how this actually works through some rules. So you're going to see the forms have a B model, a particular variable. That variable pretty much is false always. And then you have your different text field that follow some dynamic, some binding rules. And depending where you're supposed to have, your form is going to be actually be valid or not. So we can actually have something like this. So we have the title, and before we show the text and the action, we have a form. And inside the form we will put the text and the actions. Let's put those here and render. Everything looks pretty much the same, so we're fine. So we're going to have a bData component, and it's going to return valid false by default, and my form is going to be the vModel valid. Why we want to have that? Let's actually put a button here to log in. There you go. And I want to make the button disable, and I binding. These columns is the same as it does be bind. So I'm just binding my disable, saying that it's going to be changed if it's not valid. So by default, my valid is false. Let me actually. Okay, it passed the validation at the beginning. So let me actually remove this. For now. So what I want to do. Let me check. Yes, it gets rendered. Okay, I want this. If my form is not valid, my button is going to be disabled. So let me put my model there, because my form do the validation and there is actually nothing to validate. It passed it. What it does is change my valid to true. That's why the login button is able to show. So let's actually put the different elements that we're going to need. And we're going to be using two bit text fields. And the bit text fields is going to have label equal email, and the other one is going to be label equal password, text field in singular probably. There you go. I have my email and my password. So as you can see, by default they have that purple or pink color. Let me actually change that and say that my yellow darken for is going to be my primary color. So before we continue, we go to the Beautify, we look for colors, and I choose actually my yellow darken for. It gave me the number here. I can copy this. If I go to my Beautify and change my primary to that, you can see now it have the same tone. It's pretty much what I wanted. Okay. So have the email, the password. We need to bind those actually. So let's go to the login, and we have the valid, we have email, it's going to be empty, password is going to be empty by default, and we do a vModel email. be model password. But as we can see, the password is still showing, so we need to change this to type equal password. Okay, now is how it's supposed to be. Perfect. Now let's do some validations. So going back and checking the form, there's some elements that already do some validation for us. So we have the email section here. Email is required. So we go to see to the email. It actually just have a required field and the email roles. So let's actually put those. Let's copy this over, put it here, and required. And this email rules is actually a data element that is have an array. So let me actually just copy those and paste it after my email. So this looks complex, don't worry about it, just copy from there. But I'm saying that if you have a value, send the value and validate. So you need to have a value, if not, the email is required. It's going to be the message, so we'll show it. And this just for verify that the email you have an at in the middle. So we're saying like a regular expression validation for the value. If there that regular expression pass it, if not, you say the email must be valid. And we're binding, that way we put in those little brackets there to our email rules. So if we're going back to applications, you can see we didn't put anything, it says email is required. If we put something like this, email must be valid. The validation that we have is something like this. Now it passes. So as you can see now, the login is disabled until we have a valid email somehow. The login button is there. If we break the validation, the validation of the form, the login doesn't proceed. So this is pretty much what we need. Excellent. So let's do the same for the password. And we can actually copy over this, paste it here. So let's change just email rules to password rules, and let's copy the email element and paste it after password, change it to password rules. And we're going to eliminate the second one and just put the first element, password is required. So we just getting pretty much copy the one with the value. So we don't put password is required, email is required. It doesn't allow you to proceed until you do those. Perfect. Okay, so let's continue. Let's move a login button to the right. Probably looks a lot better that way. So in our car action, before the button we actually put the B spacer. And you know what, I believe we can do it like this, like self-closing. That works and make the login to the right. Perfect. But not only that, let me refresh the page. Let me change the color. So probably we can say the login, we have a color equal green. Let's see how it looks like. Probably lighten 1. little bit better. Let's do that too. Too soft. I don't like it that much. Let's change. Beautify, we have some color by default. Let's actually take the success. Let's see how it looks like. Oh, sorry, I forgot. It's here. We change this to color to success. I like it. Change my text to white directly. I believe we'll leave it like that. And let me actually put another button here. Call register. Let's do this. Color equal. Let's do danger. What it does. It didn't do anything. Oh, we have warning, no danger. I like it. But let's actually do this a text button. So it gives you that little way. Perfect. And let me add my Google button in there. So let's actually look for Google sign in button. Let's actually look for something like that. Okay. So let's put beautify. Let's see if we have something similar. What this does. No, I don't like it. Probably can do something like this, or actually let's go to material, design, icons. No, these are another one. We're using the MDI, these ones. Let's look for Google. Enter. And yes, we have this one, probably we can use it. We can use this one, Google Plus. Well, Plus doesn't exist anymore. So probably we can use the Google logo. It's a little simpler. Well, let's try it. So let's actually have a B button. And this one is going to be an icon. And the icon is going to be here. Icon, and it's going to be MDI Google. Let's see how it looks. Probably. No. So how can we make the icon look better? Let's look for buttons. These ones. not those 5 icons. Facing. Probably yeah, we can do the fav. So what happens is this icon do fav? What it does? Okay. Probably going to be a little bit better. Good color palette. Let's look for the branding color of Google, and the blue is this blue. So let me actually take that and color. I believe we can do something like this. Let's see if it works. It does. Let me change it to the red just to see it's actually changing. Yes, it does. Perfect. So probably we can do the icon large. And probably it's too big. Probably we can do the button small. Better. And we can have the class of byte dash text. Perfect. I like this a lot. So now let's add a little prop on the bottom. Like when you hover over, they just like log in with Google. So for that, we can have something like tooltip. So the tooltip, what it does, something else. This is pretty much what I need. Perfect. So we have tooltip, bottom, and then we have the button here. Okay. So we can actually take this. Let's paste it here. And let's change this button to be the one that we have. Right? The text is going to be sign in with Google. Okay, so let me just format. Command-Shift-P, format document for me. Save it. Oh, we're missing something. We are missing something. Oh, the beyond on. So the button we need to have a bit on. So sign in with Google. Perfect. But now I didn't like this too tight. So what we can do is to actually this button have an extra class. You can say margin right, remember, 1. Okay, make a separation, let's put a 2, get a little bit bigger. Perfect. 3, probably too much. Leave it as 2. And yes, that's pretty much what we need. So now what we need to do in the login section, this need to send us to the route. So remember when we have when something happens, we invite a specific event. So we can have an ad when this button gets clicked. Actually, and you know what? Because we're using a form, let's do something different here. When somebody submit this form, a traditional submission, what it does, is send like a post request and try to render another page. In this case, we're going to say, okay, prevent the default behavior and do something particular, login. So this button actually, instead of doing a click, what I want to do is going to type submission, submit. So that means that when we have something here and something here and we enter, the form is going to be submitted. And instead of submitted, it's going to execute this method or this function that doesn't exist. So let's create it. So after our data, we put a view method called the login one, a little console.log, logging in. Let's open the inspect, open the console. Well, we need to remove the name of the home. Sorry, let's do that. What it's saying is have a default name root, so we need to remove the name from this because it's required. Now I like it. Perfect. So we have something. We click login, login in. But we click enter, you can see it also sending the message to. Let me do it again. So it's doing the submission of the form. It's what we wanted. So now when we're submitting, what is going to happen is this is a router. So this way, with this $ router is globally assigned in a view application. We can say to push to somewhere specific, and we can say the path is going to be home. Let's actually try it. So let's do something here. And we submit it, login in, it logs me in. Perfect. You suppose what it's supposed to do. Oh, we had a warning. We cannot have a page called main page. So let's actually change that too. So on the home, main page, let's do it like without the space. Refresh. We are fine. We click login. Okay, we are here. And we're sitting there. But we actually not login anybody in the application. If I click we are sending directly to be inside, but we are not keeping record of the login through the application. So it's going to make sense that this is the final process. When after somebody log in, we want to eventually send it there. But before we continue, let's copy over our login page. Copy. In the directory, sorry, right click paste. Let's change this name to register. Let's change the name of the page to register. And in our router, let's actually copy this and paste it again. Register, register, register. And let's actually import that specific component. Register. Perfect. So now in the login, we're going to need to do something else. If somebody click in the register button, we need to send it to register. So let's go to login. Somebody click here. You send me to register. But because register is actually the same, right now it looks like this. So let's actually change the register page and whatever we need to have it. So for register, you're going to have let's start with the fields. So let's actually copy the email, put name, name rules, the password, and the password confirm. Actually, let's keep it semantic. Confirm password. One is the confirm password rules. Now the component have the name, email, password, confirm password. This one need to be changed. Oh, so the register, instead of doing register, need to say login, and need to be sent to log in. So we click it, send it to the login, we click register, and send it to register. We have that route already handled. Okay, let's change the rest. So on the submission, I like to keep things persistent, so I would like to sign up. This will call sign up. And instead of login, it's going to be sign up. And for the Google, sign up with Google. Okay, yeah. We can see now we have the validation for email, but the validation for name is not there because we didn't create it yet. So we need to create the name. That's going to be empty, the one that is binded, and then we create the name rules, and that's pretty much the one for the same as the password, but saying that name is required, and then we just copy the two for passwords, put the comma where it's missing, and let's put it, this one is called confirm password, and confirm password rules. Let's say that the confirm password is required. Okay, now all those are there. Perfect. But we need to have an extra validation. The confirm password need to match the password. So we can actually put a comma here, and let's copy the formula. So we send it a value. So we verify this value exists. Now we need to verify that this password is identical to the value. If not, a password must match. Let's save it. Let's put some number here. So let's put my email. So let's put a password and put another one here. Password must match. So until the password are the same, it's allow me to sign up. Perfect, is what we needed. And when we sign up, we send it to the email. So now we have the route actually working. Let's do the logout. And that one. And let's actually stop here. We did a lot of changes. Let's stage everything and call added, login and register pages. So let's commit this. So let's go to the navbar and let's create another button after the end. It's not going to be that one. Let's see, color red, and it's going to be called logout. Yeah, perfect. And it's going to be doing at click. I'm going to just log out. So let's actually create that. Oh, we forgot to put our name here, so let's put the name, navbar. I like to keep all the components named somehow. And let's put the method of logout. Right now, the only thing that we're doing is this dot router. Remember, the router is external available. Okay, push the direction or push the URL for login. So we click logout, we go to login page, we have an email, we click login, it's sent through here. Let me just move it. Perfect. Let me try again. Okay, it's doing what it's supposed to. Now let's actually put a little more logic and prevent the user actually to go in here without actually logging into the application. And for that we are going to use Vuex and what it actually does for us. For doing to Vuex, let's actually sync the changes. Let's verify they get pushed, more likely they went. I always like to verify that. So I go to my super awesome application. And yes, add a login and register pages are there. Perfect. So this is everything for this video. In the next one I will explain a little bit what is Vuex and how I can actually handle Vuex in our application. Happy coding everybody.